Hi and welcome to Anju's Learn Point. In the last video, we were looking into the introduction to ARM microprocessor. So in this video, we will be seeing the memory and register organization in ARM. We will be looking at the memory organization in ARM, the register organization in ARM and an introduction to ARM assembly. So before we go into exploring ARM, we first need to understand the basics of assembly language programming. What is assembly language? It is just a syntax on top of the machine code which is composed of instructions that are encoded in binary form or machine code which the computer can understand. So why don't we write in machine code? ARM assembly code is easily understandable by humans, but our computer can't run assembly code as such because it needs a machine code. So the tool we are using to translate an assembly code into machine code is called an assembler. So before we look at the instruction set in ARM, we should have a brief understanding about the memory and register organization in ARM. First is the memory organization in ARM. There are two ways in which we can view the bytes in memory. It is called Big Endian and Little Endian memory organization. The difference between Little Endian and Big Endian is the byte order in which each byte is stored in memory. On a Little Endian machine, for example an Intel x86, the least significant byte is stored at the lower address. Lower address means address which is closest to 0. Whereas on a Big Endian machine, the most significant byte is stored at lowest address. So ARM was a Little Endian machine before version 3 was introduced. Since then, it is bi-Endian. Bi-Endian means it can adopt both Big Endian as well as Little Endian memory organization. So register organization in ARM. So number of registers in ARM, it mainly depends on the version of ARM. So we can say that there are 30 general purpose registers, each of 32-bit. The first 16 registers, they are used in the user level mode. Whereas the additional registers, they are available under conditions where exceptions are being used. So the 16 registers accessible in the user mode, they can be categorized into two, that is general purpose as well as special purpose registers. So let us look at that. So registers R0 to R11, they are called the general purpose registers. Registers R12 to R15 along with CPSR or the current program status register is together called the special purpose register. So R0 to R12 registers, they can be used during common operations in order to store some temporary values, pointers, etc. So R0 can be considered as an accumulator during the arithmetic operations. R13 is called the stack pointer. It points to the top of the stack. So stack is nothing but a memory area that is used for temporary allocation of data. R14 is the link register. That is, when a function call is made, the link register, it gets updated with the memory address of the next instruction. Then we have the program counter at R15. That is, when a branch instruction is executed, the program counter, it holds the destination address. Then we have one of the most important registers which is called CPSR or current program status register. So we will be seeing what all bits are there in CPSR in detail. Looking at CPSR or current program status register. So the first bit is the N bit or the negative bit. It is enabled if the result of the any arithmetic or logical operation is a negative number. Then the next bit is the Z bit or the 0 bit. So it is enabled if the result of the operation, whether it is arithmetic or logical, is a 0. Then we have the carry or C. It is enabled if the result of the operation, it yields a value that requires a 33rd bit to be fully represented. That is, there is a carry generated. Within the 32 bits it cannot be stored and there is a carry generated. That is, it requires a 33rd bit to fully represent the whole result. Then we can say that the carry bit is set. Then we have the V bit or the overflow bit. So this overflow, it indicates when an arithmetic overflow occurs. That is, it is enabled if the result of the instruction, it results in a value that cannot fit into the particular register. Okay. So suppose that, as an example, we can say that suppose we are trying to add two numbers, that is 127 and 127 using 8-bit registers. So 127 plus 127, it will give the value 254. But using 8-bit arithmetic, the result would be 1111 1110 in binary format. So which is nothing but a 2's complement encoding of -2 a negative number. So in short, we can see that a negative sum of positive operand or the reverse way is an overflow. That is, the overflow flag is thus set when the MSB is changed by adding two numbers of the same sign or subtracting two numbers with the opposite sign. That is the conclusion which we draw. Next is E bit, which represents the Indianness. Indianness is already discussed. It tells whether it is little Indian or big Indian. So ARM can operate either in little Indian or big Indian. So this bit will be set to 0 for little Indian memory organization and 1 for big Indian mode. Then we have the T bit or the thumb bit. So this bit is set if the ARM operates in thumb state, and it is disabled when the ARM operates in ARM state. So ARM has two states of operation. One is the thumb state and ARM state. So this bit is set if it is in thumb state and disabled if it is in ARM state. Then the last bit which we have is the M bit, or which decides the mode of operation of ARM. Now with this, we go on to a brief introduction to ARM assembly. So every instruction begins with a mnemonic which will represent a particular operation. So we can say that the instruction syntax is in the following format. There is an operation or a mnemonic which represents the operation. There can be a condition, there can be flags, then we have RD, RN and operand. So operation means the mnemonic which represents that particular operation, that is, it can be move, it can be add, etc. Then following it is the condition or the optional conditional code. For example, EQ is an optional conditional code, it is an optional value. Next is the flags. It is another optional value which shows the flags. It can be any of the flags. Then we have RD or the destination register which is specified. Following that is RN or the source register, from where we are going to do the operation. And the last is the operand or the value which is specified. So in the next video, we will be looking into the ARM instruction sets in detail. So hope this video was informative. For more updates, please do stay tuned to Anju's Learn Point. Thank you.